Good evening. Tonight, I will tell you the story of Maya and the mysterious rat scepter, an ancient artifact with powers capable of shaping the desert sands. Like Maya, we will venture between the shifting dunes and buried secrets, where every grain of sand whispers legends of a forgotten time. Settle in comfortably and prepare to be transported to a world where the magic of the desert and the breath of the ancient gods shape the destiny of bold men and women. Prepare to spend a wonderful evening in the company of the stars and the mysteries of the desert. In the heart of an unforgiving desert, under the watchful eye of the stars, night enveloped the world in its secrets. Immense waves of golden sand rippled under the caress of the night wind, and sometimes the distant cry of an animal broke the almost sacred silence. In this landscape of solitude stood a forgotten city, buried for centuries beneath the whims of the sand. The ruins, silent witnesses to a lost grandeur, were that evening the stage for a strange agitation of silhouettes. Hooded figures moved cautiously between broken columns and eroded statues, searching for something or someone, guided by old maps and even older legends. Among them, a young woman stood out for her confidence and the distinctive gleam in her eyes. Her name was Maya. She was the descendant of a line of scholars and adventurers, and tonight she was leading her first expedition. Her goal? To discover the rat scepter, a lost artifact that, according to myth, could control the elements of the desert. Legend said the scepter had been hidden in the tomb of a forgotten pharaoh, a ruler whose reign had been so brief and so troubled that only the sands retained the memory of his name. Maya, in the flickering light of a torch, scanned the walls, searching for clues. Suddenly, her foot struck something hard. Bending down, she discovered a stone slab slightly offset from the rest of the ground. With the help of her companions, she moved the slab, revealing a narrow, descending opening, a rope ladder. Worn by time but still sturdy, she plunged into the darkness without hesitation. Maya was the first to step into the gloom, closely followed by her companions. Their descent led them to a secret chamber where the air was thick with dust and mystery. In the center, on a stone pedestal, rested the long-sought scepter. It was an object of strange beauty, carved from gold and encrusted with precious stones, which gleamed faintly in the dim light. As they approached, a soft but firm voice echoed around them. "Who dares disturb the rest of him who still reigns in death?" Carved from gold and encrusted with precious stones, which gleamed faintly in the dim light. As they approached, a soft but firm voice echoed around them. "Who dares disturb the rest of him who still reigns in death?" The walls trembled slightly, and the torches flickered. Frightened but resolute, the adventurers froze as Maya advanced with a determined step. Her voice, though filled with emotion, did not tremble. "We come with respect, urging only for kindness and goodness. We mean no harm, seeking to understand the secrets of the past and to protect this artifact from those who would use it for evil purposes." The tension in the chamber seemed to wane. "So prove that your heart is pure, and perhaps my treasure will become yours," replied the voice, gentler this time. Maya found herself facing a choice, a test of character and courage that would decide their fate. As the chapter closed, the young woman breathed deeply, ready to face her destiny beneath the desert stars.
witness to millennia of human history. As Maya faced the challenge posed by the mysterious voice, the silence of the tomb weighed heavily on her shoulders. The secret chamber, illuminated by flickering torches, was surrounded by ancient frescoes depicting scenes from the life and reign of the forgotten pharaoh. The air was thick with the scent of mire and blood, almost as if the sovereign could at any moment reclaim his place among the living. "Before you can claim my scepter," the voice continued, now clearly located above the pedestal, "you must pass 3 trials. Each will test your wisdom, your courage, and your heart. Succeed, and the Scepter of Ra is yours. Fail, and you will remain here forever, guardian of my eternal rest." The first ordeal soon presented itself. A panel slid to the side, revealing a room filled with quicksand. In the center, a platform held an ancient papyrus. "Retrieve the papyrus without succumbing to the sand," commanded the voice. Maya analyzed the room. She noticed several wooden beams scattered around the room. Quickly, she devised a plan with the help of her companions. She arranged the beams to create a precarious but passable path to the central platform. Walking with extreme caution, she managed to reach the papyrus and return safely. The voice, seemingly satisfied, announced the second trial. "Now decipher the papyrus and solve the riddle it contains." The text, written in ancient hieroglyphs, posed a complex logic puzzle involving the gods of the Nile. Miria, using her knowledge of ancient writing acquired during her studies, translated and solved the riddle with the intuition that only a true scholar could possess. "Very good," murmured the voice, a tone of surprise coloring these immortal words. "You have proven your wisdom, but the final trial is the most difficult. You must offer what you cherish most to prove that your heart is pure." Maya's companions exchanged worried glances, wondering what each of them was thinking. As if it were her most precious possession, Miria, however, showed no hesitation. She approached the pedestal and gently placed a small gold medallion on it. This jewel, inherited from her mother and always worn close to her heart, symbolized all the love and sacrifices of her family. The room trembled slightly, as if responding to the sincerity of her gesture. The voice, now full of warmth and respect, declared, "Your heart is indeed pure, Miria. The rat scepter belongs to you, as it should." Miria's companions congratulated her, admiring her courage and determination. The scepter was carefully removed from its pedestal, and as soon as Miria touched it, a golden light flooded the room, illuminating every dark corner and revealing hidden inscriptions on the walls. "Take the scepter in the starlight, and there its true power will be revealed to you," the voice concluded, before falling silent forever, leaving the adventurers alone in the silence. Having returned from the tomb with the scepter in hand and the riddles solved behind them, they headed towards emerging from the tomb, a path now illuminated by a mysterious glow emanating from the artifact. The desert awaited them, vast and silent beneath the starry vault, ready to bear witness to the new era that Miria would undoubtedly inaugurate. Miria and her companions, exhausted but exhilarated, emerged from the tomb with the first breath of dawn, which painted the sky in shades of pink and gold. The desert, A vast ocean of sand and mystery stretched before them, offering a landscape both menacing and magnificent. They walked in silence, the weight of their achievement and the rat scepter solidifying their resolve. The group halted at the exact spot where the sun would kiss the dune's zenithal peaks, as the pharaoh's voice had indicated. It was a special, sacred place, where the earth energy lines converged, amplifying the scepter's powers. "Prepare yourselves," Maya said, her voice betraying a touch of nervousness. She held the scepter before her, her eyes scanning the sky for the first stars.
As the dawn began to pierce the veil, her companions formed a circle around her, each murmuring prayers or words of encouragement. As the sun set, the stars appeared, twinkling with an intensity heightened by the magic of the place. She raised the scepter, and a golden light burst forth, forming a pillar that seemed to touch the sky. Even the grains of sand around them danced in the air, animated by an ancient and powerful force. "The scepter now reveals its true power," Maya announced. She felt the artifact vibrate with energy, its gems firing bursts of starlight. "It can summon and manipulate the elements of the desert at will, but with such power comes great responsibility." She gave a demonstration, pointing the scepter toward a distant dune. Under their astonished gaze, the dune shifted, creating a temporary passage between the sand mounds. "We can shape the desert, but we must always respect its essence and its creatures," she added, mindful of the dangers of misuse of power. Night fell completely, and the group decided to camp under the starry sky around the fire. They discussed their future plans. Maya was determined to use the scepter to help her people. Having suffered from the desert's whims for generations, she envisioned creating oases, diverting sandstorms, and even finding hidden water sources. But as night deepened, a cold wind blew, bringing with it a sense of unease. A hooded figure appeared at the edge of the firelight. "The scepter must not leave the tomb," she said in a grave voice, her eyes shining with a sinister gleam. "Those who defy this law will suffer the consequences." Maya's companions rose hastily, seizing their weapons, but Maya stopped them with a gesture. "Who are you?" she asked, her heart pounding. "I am the guardian of the tomb, and your presence has disrupted an ancient balance. The scepter must be surrendered, or the desert itself will turn against you." Maya weighed her words, knowing the threat was real. The desert had its own laws, and it had broken them, whether through ignorance or necessity. The decision she made now could well determine the future of the people of Maya and their ancestral land. The confrontation with the guardian of the tomb weighed heavily on Maya. Her companions stood behind her, a mixture of determination and worry etched on their faces. The guardian, a figure as ancient as the sands themselves, awaited an answer. "I understand the laws we have transgressed," Maya began, her voice carrying in the growing silence of the desert. "But we have seen the potential of the scepter for the good of our people. Is there a way to prove our worth, to show that we can be worthy of this power?" The guardian looked at them for a long time, his eyes seeming to pierce the very depths of their souls. Finally, he answered, "There is a way to test your merit. You must appease the sand colossus, a creature born of storms and nourished by the energies of the scepter. If you can calm its fury, then perhaps the desert will accept your request." Maya agreed, though the idea of facing such an entity chilled her to the bone. "Where can we find this colossus?"
Follow the north wind at sunrise. He will lead you to him. Be careful, for his wrath can level mountains and bury cities with his words. The guardian dissipated like mist carried by the wind, leaving the group alone under the stars at dawn. After a night of preparation and strategy, Maya and her companions set off. The north wind pushed them across toward the dunes, guiding their steps towards an uncertain destiny. After several hours of walking, they reached a valley where the winds howled with incredible force, the grains of sand dancing like demons around a massive figure in the center. The sand colossus was a torment incarnate, its form changing and undulating with each gust. Its face, if it could be called that, was marked by two burning eyes shining with a red light like embers. Maya brandished the scepter. "We come in peace, great spirit of the desert. We wish to learn and perhaps, with your help, bring balance between our world and yours." Her voice, though firm, trembled under the overwhelming power of the creature. The colossus roared with a sound so powerful it shook the ground beneath their feet, but it didn't attack immediately. Intrigued by the presence of the scepter, it calmed slightly, allowing Maya to approach even closer. Using the scepter, she directed a gentle current of air around the colossus, a soothing murmur that seemed to calm its torment. Gradually, the creature stabilized, transforming from a hurricane of sand into an almost humanoid form, smaller and less menacing. "You have shown courage and understanding," thundered the colossus, its voice now clearer and less terrifying. "The scepter is in good hands, it seems. But remember, every action has consequences. The desert watches, and it will remember." With a final gust of wind, the colossus vanished, leaving behind a surprising calm. Maya and her companions exchanged glances of relief and realization. They had succeeded in appeasing one of the oldest forces of the desert. They resumed their journey toward the village, their hearts light, but their minds burdened with the responsibilities that their new power involved. The village of Maya nestled in the shade of the palm trees, which upon their return from their quest seemed to await them as if even the stones and sand anticipated the tale of their adventure. The air was thick with silent anticipation, and when Maya and her companions crossed the village gates, a crowd greeted them with a mixture of joy and apprehension. Maya, firmly holding the rat scepter, stepped toward the central square. The villagers gathered around her, observing the artifact with a curiosity tinged with respect. She raised the scepter not as a trophy, but as a symbol of their shared future. "My friends," she began, her voice carrying in the morning stillness, "we have journeyed across the sands and confronted the spirits of the desert. The rat scepter is more than an ancient relic. It is a tool, a guardian of our heritage and our future." She recounted their journey, the trials imposed by the guardian of the tomb, their encounter with the sand colossus, and how they had learned to respect the ancient forces that governed their world. "Each step in the sand, each grain swept by the wind, taught us the responsibility that accompanies this power." From the village, a wise old man with clear eyes stood up. "Maya, your quest was also ours. What you have learned, we must all listen to and apply. How do you propose to use this power for the good of all?" Maya smiled, grateful for his wisdom. "With the scepter, we can find water hidden beneath the desert, create oases where there was only desolation. We can deflect sandstorms and protect our land and our homes, but we must always respect the limits imposed by nature and by our own humanity." The following days were devoted to planning under Maya's guidance, and with the village's approval, they used the scepter to locate underground water sources, transforming barren expanses into fertile land. The newly formed oases became havens of life, attracting traders and travelers, bringing prosperity and new ideas. However, Maya scrupulously ensured that the scepter was used only for the benefit of all, and with respect for the balance of the desert. She created a council composed of members from various parts of the village named after the dunes so that all voices would be heard in the administration of this power. Over time, the village of Maya became a model of coexistence and prosperity. Stories of their wisdom and respect for the desert spread far beyond their borders, attracting researchers, poets, and even kings. Maya, having become a woman of wisdom, often contemplated the desert under the starlight, the scepter at her side. She knew that true power resided not in the artifact itself, but in how it was used to harmonize the desires of men with the immutable laws of nature. And so, under the vast starry sky, a new era awoke, an age where men and the desert coexisted in peace, guided by the wisdom and vision of a young woman who had dared to dream beyond the sands.